Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Yappers Club. Hey, bitch. Hello. I really thought I wasn't gonna record this week because I really said in my last week's episode, like, oh my god, weekly episodes, and it's Friday now, and I haven't recorded anything yet. So, също ако се чува някакво хрупане, това е котката ми because he hasn't been eating his food because you know what? Because he just wants something else. He doesn't like that food. But he's gonna fucking enjoy it. You can't have things you enjoy all the time. So he's just gonna have to suck it up and eat the food that he has right now. Anyways, also, we don't need to talk about my outfit today. It's something. And my hair looks like shit. I still have my Christmas tree up. It's fine. Но най-после успях да хвана деня. Успях да хвана деня и да записвам през деня и да е like natural lighting. But yeah, that's really cool. Also, if you're new here, hi, hello. Make sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, and comment. I'm going to remind you at the end of the episode again because I want likes, views, and money. That's all I care about. Nothing else. If you can't tell, I have my laptop in front of me because I'm going to be reading off of it because I wanted to talk about limerence today. And if you don't know what limerence is, I'm going to read it out for you so you know, because I've always been fascinated by that specific term, because I never knew what that meant until I found out what limerence was. So I feel like I'm not like smart enough to talk about limerence or like deeper topics or whatever, but I feel like this topic is something that we can all, relate to, or this feeling specifically that we've all experienced, but we've never known what the fuck it meant. And I think a lot of us experience that feeling in relationships or just in general, because it's a very specific feeling. So I'm gonna read what that means, and then we're gonna go off from there. Limerence is a state of involuntary obsession with another person. The experience of limerence is different from love or lust in that it is based on the uncertainty that the person you desire, called the limerent object in the literature, also desires you. So basically, kind of like a crush, but also not like a crush, because limerence basically means like you are obsessed with the idea of that maybe that person doesn't like me, or what if they like me? Like you're obsessed with the feeling of uncertainty, like, oh, what if they like me? What if they don't like me? What do they like about me? Do they not like anything about me? Do they like everything about me? And I feel like it's kind of close to a crush, but when you're having a crush, it's like, oh, like I like that about them. I like that about them. Like I want to be with them. Like it would be so cool if we dated. But in limerence, it's different because when you are experiencing that, you don't want to be in a relationship with them. It's not like there doesn't even have to be like sexual desire there or like lust or anything. You're just obsessed with the idea of the uncertainty behind that person, And we're going to read more about it because, we're just learning. And I've always experienced limerence. I think I've experienced limerence more than I've experienced actual like love, which is crazy to say. But I feel like all of us have experienced limerence without even realizing what it is. Because when was the last time that you experienced a feeling like that and you did not know what that meant? Because for me, I feel like I've experienced limerence like pretty often. Like often as in like 2 weeks ago, maybe. Because I feel like I experienced that feeling a lot. And it's not to say like, oh my God, I have a crush on that person. Oh my God, I'm obsessed with that person. Oh my God, this and this and this. No. I just like the uncertainty behind the limerent object. As in like, oh, it would be really cool if we were in a relationship. But also, I don't give a fuck about that. I don't care if we were in a relationship. I don't care if they like me or not. I just love the idea of, oh my God, will we be together? Will we work as a couple? Like, I think that's what limerence is. That's what I'm like getting from that. Like you're obsessed with the uncertainty behind the person that you've chosen to, experience that towards. Ще направим анализ на цялата тази статия because it's a long one and I'm going to be reading a lot. So if you don't enjoy me reading, girl, trust me, I don't as well. I am dyslexic sometimes. So let's just keep going. Since limerence is the desire to be desired, it is a cognitive experience as well as a physical and emotional one. as the focus of limerence is whether or not the object of desire reciprocates the feelings. Rather than actually falling in love with the person, it is almost always one-sided. So if you have experienced limerence, most of the times it's just one-sided thing. Like, they don't think about you, they don't like you, they don't even care about you at all, one single bit. But you are so obsessed with the idea of, oh my God, I know they don't like me. I know they don't want to be with me. I know it would never work, but like, what if? You're obsessed with that feeling, that specific, like, oh my God, what if? What if? The uncertainty behind it. That's what limerence is for me. And I feel like we've all experienced that, unfortunately. I think we've all experienced liking someone, but not even, I don't think limerence is about liking someone, because you don't have to be like even sexually attracted to them, like at all attracted to them to experience that feeling. Like, I am a homosexual man, and I can say for a fact that I've experienced limerence with women. I know I have experienced limerence with women just because, like, I know myself. I'm like, okay, I know what I like. I know my sexuality. I'm comfortable in my sexuality, but like, what if I was with a woman? That would never fucking happen. That's literally not gonna happen ever. But what if? Like, that uncertainty is like what kept me like, wait. Because I don't care about that bitch specifically. But like, what if we were together? That would never work, but like, what? It's like, you know what I mean? And I feel like we've all experienced that, you know? Or like having a crush. Having a crush is like a little bit different, because when you're having a crush, it's like, oh, like we talk from time to time. Or like we have like mutual interest or something. Or maybe you've had a crush in high school or any time where you've never talked to them. You only see them and you're like, oh my God, we could be so cute together. Like, I have a crush on that person. I like that person. I kind of want to date them. But in limerence, you don't specifically have to like date them or want to date them to experience that towards them. You know what I mean? Or even want to fuck them. No fucking way. I don't want to have sex with women. Okay? I know what I like. Unfortunately, I know what I like. So still, that doesn't mean I can't experience that. The experience of limerence can include obsessional thinking about the object of one's limerent desire, an irrationally positive evaluation of that person's attributes, and a longing for reciprocation. So sometimes in limerence, you do have that longing of, oh my God, what if we were together? I can't stop thinking about them. But at the same time, you don't really care about them that much, actually at all. You just want to experience that specific thing with that person. Or it could be with many people, actually. Because as I said, I think I've experienced limerence with so many people in my life. Could be friends, could be like my closest friends ever. I'm like, oh my God, what if we were together? But like, that's not gonna happen. But like, imagine, it's like, you know what I mean? I know for a fact that I've experienced that with so many of my friends. And this is it, guys. Това е моето признание пред всички мои приятели. I could have experienced limerence towards you. And hey, at least I'm honest about it. I'm being real about it. And I think all of us have. But we don't know what that means. You know? Because it's always like, okay, добре, аз не ги харесвам. Може би искам да съм с тях. Може би не искам да съм с тях. So why do I feel like this? So this strong feeling, this pull towards them. It's like because you're experiencing limerence. And girls, it's not healthy. I don't think limerence is something that's healthy. It's like close to obsession, but like obsession, it's like you're obsessed with that person. You don't want to know everything about them. Like you're obsessed with what they do, with what they say, with everything, with their physical. Like, I think it's like kind of like really, it differentiates limerence and obsession. Because obsession is kind of like up there. Limerence is kind of like obsession, but like not really. It really depends on person to person. Защото някой може да е обсебен с някой, но не иска да има нищо общо с тях, like romantically. And I feel like people experience limerence towards celebrities, in my opinion. Because we're so parasocial. Most of us are really parasocial. So it wouldn't be surprising for you to experience limerence towards a celebrity. Let's say, for example, you know for a fact you'll never be with that celebrity that you love so much. But like, what if? Мисля, че това е супер крайно нещо да experience limerence towards like a celebrity. I feel like that's like, there's like, you know, there's phases to that. И се съмнявам, че хората experience толкова limerence към известни личности, повече отколкото, нали, just like normal people, you know. It does not require sexual attraction, although the person needs to be someone with whom you could at least imagine yourself. That's what I mean when I said about the celebrities thing. Like, you have to at least be able to imagine yourself with them in order to feel that limerence towards them. And that sounds scary as fuck because when I think about if I can imagine myself with anyone that I know in my personal life, I know I can. Unfortunately I can imagine myself with all of my friends in a relationship with. And that's insane. That's a little like what do you mean? What are you doing? But also like it's normal. I don't think it's like something scary, but also like I feel like limerence is something like very like scary to experience, especially when you don't know what that means. And you could go like a little bit insane and like spiral, which I think we all have. I think we all have experienced limerence without knowing what it means, and we've spiraled. But now we do. Now we know, guys. If you are experiencing that, just know it's limerence and read about it. And be like, okay, like I'm experiencing this and that's fine. At the beginning of a limerent reaction, an individual will often think about the person to whom they're attracted. And importantly, doing so will bring them considerable pleasure. So basically like a crush, as I said, but like not really, because you don't need to be attracted to them in order to feel that towards them. Like you could be experiencing limerence towards the most random person ever. Може да не ти е тип, може да не го харесваш как говори, каквото и да е, but like the thought of, oh my god, what if I was with them? It like is what gets you like going, like you feel good while thinking about them. So it's kind of like a crush, but also not really, if you know what I mean. Because like with the crush, girl, we've all had crushes. Like I can name at least 20 people or more that I've had a crush on. Like everyone has crushes. Like it's normal in life to have a little crush on someone and it's not hurting anyone. Well, it depends. Really depends on, how obsessed you are with them. Because when you have a crush, I feel like the obsession is bigger than when you are experiencing limerence towards someone, Because limerence is not obsession. It's just that it's just in the back of your mind, like, oh my god, what if? And that feeling, I feel like, grows with time. So the pleasure is intensified to a feeling of elation or jubilation. If there is a hint of reciprocity from the object of their limerence, an individual may start to replay and analyze every interaction they've had with the person for signs that the other person has feelings for them. So again, like a crush, but not really. Because you don't have to think about them 24/7. You don't have to be like, oh my god, I love everything they do. But when that limerence grows, you start to analyze everything about your conversations, about your posture, the way you word things in front of them, the way you talk, the way you act, the way you look in front of them. You start to analyze everything. And I feel like that's why I said it's like really close to a crush, because I think having a crush is kind of like the same thing, but also not really, because as we said, with a crush, you do imagine yourself with them. You do want to be with them. In most cases, I feel like. But also, sometimes a crush can be limerence, and sometimes limerence can be a crush. I feel like that's also something that we need to talk about, because it's very different. And I feel like we always get them confused. Because когато изпитваш такова чувство, like limerence, for example, towards someone, веднага ще кажеш, oh, I just have a crush on them. And sometimes that's not the case. Because, let me ask you, when you've had a crush on someone, do you always want to know, like, what's happening in their life, first? And second, do you wish them well? Do you care about their well-being? And if the answer is yes, and you say, oh, if I have a crush, of course I would care about their well-being. Well, when you were experiencing limerence, you don't really care about, you don't necessarily need to care about their well-being. They're just like at the back of your mind. They're not like the front and center of your mind. Depends on, how high the levels of limerence are. If the limerence is like 100%, could be like obsession. It could be like something that has to do with, psychological things. But I feel like limerence is also like on a psychological level, and I feel like it comes from like loneliness or like the need to be seen and the need for your feelings to be reciprocated by someone. And I feel like it stems from loneliness as well, because we all feel lonely sometimes, or like most of the times, it really depends. And you just want to be seen by someone. You want someone to reciprocate those feelings. And when you find that someone, it's because just, oh my God, like I want them to experience that with me. I want them to reciprocate my feelings towards them. But also, I could not care less if they do. It's like this battle in your mind. Like, искам те да ме харесат обратно. Искам те да чувстват същите неща, които аз чувствам към тях. But also, I don't really give a fuck if they don't. That's why I'm saying like it's really different than a crush. Because when you have a crush, if they don't reciprocate your feelings, you'll go crazy. You know, it's gonna break your heart if they don't, right? But when you are experiencing limerence, if they don't reciprocate the feelings, that's what keeps you going, you know? Because you know that they don't like you back. But you still like them because you're so obsessed with that uncertainty of maybe one day, like, oh my God, what if they suddenly like me? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like that's why limerence is different than having a crush on someone. But let's keep going. If any are detected, the individual may even feel a boost in self-esteem. So when you are analyzing those little signs in your little conversations that you have with that person, and you find something as small as a fucking needle, you'll be like, oh my God, I'm so cool. Like, you are building your self-esteem on that little tiny interaction that you have with them. That little tiny needle that you found of, maybe they like me. Oh my God, they liked my joke. They gave me a compliment on my outfit. They said my hair looks good today. It's like some like small things like that, you know? And you're like, so I feel good about myself. And it's really scary. You know, it is really scary when the only thing that boosts your self-esteem is that small interaction that you've had with someone. Because I feel like self-esteem should come from within, but that's another topic. Like, of course people help you with self-esteem, obviously, and that's a good thing in most cases. But in limerence, I don't think that's a good thing. Because you'll start to notice that you're analyzing literally everything all the damn time. And I've done it. I've done it so many times. Like millions of times. I've overanalyzed everything I've said to someone I've had a crush on or I've experienced limerence towards. And it's really scary because you will go in a cycle. Like a never-ending cycle of, oh my God, they said this, but I said this. And it's like, you go insane. And you know deep down that you don't care that much, but that's what makes you keep going and feel good about yourself. And it's so scary because you should feel good about yourself without needing that sign of, what if they like me? What if they don't? They said I look good. They said they gave me a compliment. They said they laughed at my joke. It's like scary, you know? But I feel like we've all experienced that. And I feel like we all experience that all the time. In small gestures, you know, could be a stranger even, but you have to imagine yourself with them in order to feel that, you know, limerence effect. This ecstatic and obsessed state is the core of limerence. It may end with feelings of sadness, agony, or indifference, but the state is one of acute intensity that outranks all other concerns in an individual's life. So that's what I said, when the limerence is like really high, it may end in a disaster. You might feel like really sad when, you know, you get to the point where you're like, oh, actually, they never cared about me. Or actually, they don't like me at all. And you might feel really sad. That's what I'm saying. It's like close to crush, but not the same. Because you might feel indifference. And that goes for like a crush as well. Защото имало е моменти, в които аз съм имал кръш на някой и съм си казвал, okay, if they don't like me, that's fine. And it turns out they don't like me. And it's fine. Because it's still like that indifference of like, okay, I like them, but if they don't like me, that's fine. Но това е, че unfortunately винаги всички си казваме това. Някакво, да, аз ги харесвам, ако те не ме харесат и ми пука. Girl, like, come on now. Like, it's so obvious that you care. At least a little bit. Because if you like someone, I feel like in most cases you would want to know if they like you back. You know? But in limerence, it's a little different because you do care, but also it's like you don't really. You know that you're not gonna end up with them. You know? It's just the fantasy of being with them that gets you like hot and bothered, you know what I mean? During the experience of limerence, thoughts about an individual's limerent object may be persistent and intrusive. Physically, the individual may feel a racing heart, a flushed face, and jitters or weakness when they think of the person. Behaviorally, the individual feels heightened anxiety and fear, lest they do or say something around the object of their desires that will be a turnoff. So I feel like limerence is more of like an anxious feeling. I feel like limerence comes from anxiety of like, what if I'm like, what if they like me? What if they don't? Like, what if I'm like cool? What if I'm not cool in front of them? Because a crush, it's like, I feel like a crush is like more of like a positive thing. Of course it has its negatives, duh, obviously. But I feel like limerence is more of like an anxious thing. It's like, what if they like me? What if they don't? What did I say? What did I do? Like, do I look good? Like, did I say the right thing? Is the joke funny enough? Is my outfit good enough for them? And that's what gets you going. Like that anxious feeling of, what did I do? Do they like me? Did I say something wrong? Did I say something did I embarrass myself? And yes, those specific feelings can be in crushes as well. Like you can experience anxiety and fear and embarrassment when you are having a crush as well. But I feel like in limerence, it's like the anxiety and fear that you feel is way more heightened than in a crush. That's why I'm so confused when people say, oh, I have a crush on someone, but like, I'm so scared to talk to them. I'm so scared to look at them. Like, what if this? What if that? Like, I have to do this. I have to perform in front of them. So they, see me as like an object of their desire. Like, I want them to like me just how I like them, And it's like, no, girl, that's limerence. That's not having a crush. Having a crush is like, we've all had crushes in high school, And when you see your crush walking down the hall in your high school, you're like, oh my God. Like, you don't really think about it too much. I mean, depends on how much you like them. But I feel like having a crush doesn't necessarily mean that you like them. You know what I mean? And that's when limerence comes into play. Because with limerence, you don't really have to like them in order to be like experiencing that feeling towards them. You know what I mean? But with the crush, it's like, you could like them. Yeah. But like in most of my crushes, I didn't really like them. I feel like now that I think about it, like not 90% of my crushes, okay. But like at least like 50 or 60% of my crushes have not been crushes. It's been limerence. And I was like, wait, that's crazy. Because my first ever high school crush, I really thought I had a crush on this guy. But I didn't. It was limerence all along. Because I could not care less about what the fuck he's doing or if he's okay or if he's not okay. Even in high school, I didn't really give a fuck if he's doing okay. Why is he sad? Why is he mad? Like, I did not give a fuck. Like, I could not care less. I was just went about my day. But when I thought about them, I was like, oh my God. It's like, yeah. So, really reevaluate whether or not you have a crush on someone or if it's limerence. И ще сложа линк на тази статия в биото на този епизод if you want to read it for yourself because it is really interesting and we're going to go through the whole thing, I feel like, but I'm going to skip some parts because girl, I don't have fucking time. Uncertainty is necessary for limerence. An individual must not know how the object of their desire truly feels about them and will typically conceal their feelings for the other person as well, to the best of their ability, until they are more certain that the other person reciprocates their feelings. So with the crush, it's like kind of obvious. You don't make it that obvious in front of the person, but you do though. Because it's like, Nali, when you are talking to your crush, you like, you know what I mean? Like you would feel nervous. You would be like, especially in high school. But with limerence, it's like you try your best to not show that the other person that you like them. And that's why I say like my high school crush was not a high school crush. That was limerence because every time I was talking to that person, I was like, oh, he has no idea that I like him. No fucking clue whatsoever. Zero clue that I like him. And yeah. And I was like trying so hard to see like if he likes me back or what did I say or if I say this, how is he gonna react? Like it was so scary. It was so scary. And now knowing that, it's like, girl, I could not care less about what the fuck that person is doing. I hope he's okay, truly. But if he's not okay, I mean, it's not gonna really change anything in my life. And that's what limerence is. You don't really give a fuck about that person, and that's fine. Because they don't give a fuck about you as well. So, I don't give a fuck about you, you don't give a fuck about me, it's fine. Move on, Back it up. It is an interpretation of events rather than the events themselves. You admire, you are physically attracted, you see or think you see the hints of possible reciprocity, and the process is set in motion. That's how limerence starts, with a little crush most of the times. But then it turns into fucking insanity, because I had a crush on this person for like almost 3 to 4 years in my high school fucking experience. Like, it was a long fucking process for me. And if I think about them now, I'll be like, wait, like what? How the fuck did I like that person? What the fuck was going on? I did not have a crush on that person. Knowing that now, I did not. It was not a crush. It was not a little, oh, I like them, I hope he likes me too. No, it was limerence all along. Because I could not give a fuck about that person right now. So, it's very specific. Is limerence pathological? Healthy individuals can find themselves in a state of limerence they would never have expected. That's what I'm saying. It's not something that you expect to happen. It just happens gradually. With like a little crush. It all starts with a little crush and then you go insane. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have a crush, because having a crush, honestly, if I have to be really honest, having a crush is so fun. It's like, oh my god, they posted something. Oh my god, they're listening to that song. Oh my god, I should also listen to that song and also post it so they notice that I listen to the song they post, and then we like interact. Like, it's cute. But also, like, it's cute to a certain point. Then it becomes limerence. I feel like most crushes turn into limerence if you can't control, like, if you don't know what's going on inside of your brain. But when you are having a crush, most of the times, I doubt you know what's going on. You're just like, wow, I like them, allegedly, So, others argue that limerence can be considered a psychiatric condition insofar as it interferes with the individual's functioning in day-to-day life. As in some experience for limerence to take a step into the, for it to, interfere in my life, because I didn't care that much. It was so obvious that it didn't give a fuck. But the thought of them, every time I thought of that person, I was like, cut the cameras. Why am I thinking about them right now? What do you mean? But I don't like them. But I do. Do I like them? Do they like me? And it's like this whole spiral of what's going on? So that's why I'm saying it's like anxiety most of the times. It's not like, ooh, what if they like me? It's like, oh my god, what if they like me? It's like, you know what I mean? There is a difference. Let's talk about the 3 stages of limerence. Infatuation, crystallization, and deterioration. That sounds like a horror movie. During infatuation, the individual becomes to notice the other person and recognize their positive qualities. Crush, basically. During crystallization, the individual experiences the obsessive, anxious, and ecstatic intensity of their feelings. So you kind of get a little bit obsessed with them, and that's okay. Upon deterioration, the idealization of the object of the individual's limerence begins to wear off, as do the intensity of the feelings. So it's like stage, like, oh, I like them. Oh, maybe I like them actually. Like, oh my god, it's like you're going insane during the second stage. And then the last stage is like, I don't really like them at all, actually. And that's what happened to me, I feel like. I feel like in high school, that's what happened to me with my crush. At one point, I was like, wait, I don't like them at all. Like, ew. And every time I saw them after the limerence was over and done for, I was like, ew. Stay the fuck, ew. Gross. This, for me, it turned into that person is gross to me. It was like that. Because I spent 3 to 4 years liking that person, and I was like, wait a minute, wake the fuck up, sister. That motherfucker is disgusting and gross. Love you, king, but also, ew. You know what I mean? Let's talk about the differences between limerence and love, because it's very different. I feel like love should not feel anxious. I mean, love sometimes feels anxious, obviously. Obviously. Love comes with fear, anxiety, and insecurities and everything, obviously. But I feel like there's a big difference between the two. Limerence is not the same thing as love. An individual in the limerence state is not concerned for the well-being of the other person they're obsessed over. It is an independent state, confined to the mind of the person experiencing it. In love, the other person is an important part of the individual's life. In limerence, the other person's value is often way out of proportion to the person's actual importance in the individual's life. So basically, you don't really care about what the fuck they're doing or how the fuck they're feeling. Because with love, it's like they are a part of your life. You do want them in your life. You do care about what's going on. You are affected by how they feel. But with limerence, it's like, nah, I don't really care about what the fuck they're doing or how they're feeling. If they're feeling sad, that's not gonna make me automatically sad. You know what I mean? But with love, it's very different, obviously. Because in most cases, especially in this day and age, I feel like limerence is often mistaken for love. And it's really scary because in the situationships, although I hate that word, but we're gonna use it for the sake of the video, or in relationships that I've been in, I feel like in most cases, I felt like that was love. I felt like that was, genuine affection. But now I'm like rewinding every situationship that I've been in or a relationship that I've been in. And some of them have been just straight up limerence because after that situationship ends, I don't really care about what's going on in your life. I don't care if you're good or not. But with like relationships where there was actual love involved and affection, I do care about whether or not you're okay or not, whether that person I was in a relationship is okay now because they were a part of my everyday life. Their feelings were really important to me and I was affected by how they were feeling. But with limerence and situationships, I wasn't that affected. I mean, yes, if that person was mad, I would be mad. If they were sad, I would like maybe care, but it wasn't like the number one thing in my mind. But with love, it's different because when you are in love, that person is the first thing on your mind, obviously, because you are you are in love with them. It's not a crush. It's not limits. You are genuinely in love with that person. And that's why people, I feel like, mistake limerence for love. Because when you are experiencing limerence, most people think like, oh my God, I mean, I do care. I wonder I am in love with them. It's not love because you are obsessed with the uncertainty of that person being with you or not being with you. What if they are with me? But what if they're not with me? But do I care about it? Maybe I do. Maybe it's that fucking constant cycle of, oh my God, do they care? Do they not care? Do I care? Do I not care? It's like, did I say that? Do I not say that? How should I act? Should I act nonchalant? Should I not show them at all that I like them? Or what do I do? That's limerence for me, in my opinion. And that's why it differentiates a lot from love, because love is very different and way more intense than limerence, because limerence could be intense, and in that case, chances are you might mistake it for love. And it's so scary because I feel like a lot of us do mistake that for love, and it's scary. That's when you end up in agony and sad that it didn't work because you saw it as actual love and you were hoping and praying that they reciprocated your feelings, and it didn't work because it was never love, baby. It was limerence. And I rest my case. How do you know if you're experiencing limerence or love? Limerence is distinct from love in that the individual does not really care about the well-being of the other person. Their obsession is really about the uncertainty of the situation. Does the other person feel the same way or not? Individuals experiencing limerence may have no desire to have a long-term relationship with the object of their obsession. We need to print that out and put it everywhere because this is so fucking valid and so fucking true. And when you realize that maybe you don't want to be in a relationship with that person, you would realize that you're not in love with them. You're just obsessed with the idea of the uncertainty of that of that person. You know what I mean? It's not love. It's not even obsession. You're just like, oh my God, what if we were together? And that's not love, baby. That's not love. That's anxiety and fear. And it's still okay, but also you have to realize that, and you have to differentiate it from love, because love is way different than limerence. Limerence can end with sadness, agony, or indifference. Under consummation, the person in the limerence state discovers the object of their desire also has a desire for them and engages in a physical or romantic relationship. That's one way for a limerence to end. But I feel like when you are experiencing limerence towards someone, I feel like the worst thing that can happen out of that is you getting into a relationship with them. I don't know, that's just me. That's just me, because you're waiting for that thing to happen. You're like waiting for them to reciprocate that feeling. And when they do, it's like, I feel like it would not feel, I feel like the limerence would be gone and you wouldn't be as infatuated with them. Because when you don't know if they like you or not, and if they're reciprocating the same feelings as you, the intensity is way more like cool. It's so cool to not know if someone likes you. Like, it literally builds your self-esteem not knowing if someone likes you or not, you know? And when you find out that they do, that infatuation and that intensity lowers. And I feel like you're not going to be that infatuated with that person anymore. That's just my take, though. I feel like limerence should just end in indifference or even sadness, and you're going to get over it. I don't feel like limerence can end in a good way. That's just my opinion, though. Maybe some people would beg to differ. I don't know. Maybe people have experienced limerence and, you know, have gotten in a great relationship with the person of their, you know, desire. But I don't think so. I don't feel like that's healthy, because let's say for example, you've experienced limerence for like, as I said, for like 3 to 40 years, and then you finally get into that relationship with that person, because what is there to look forward to after you get into that relationship? Because you've reached your goal, basically. It's like, I don't have to think about them anymore. Like, I don't care if I say something weird or not. It's just nice. And maybe it is nice. Maybe it is cool. Maybe, you know, it makes you happier when you actually get into a relationship with that person. But I feel like when the intensity of that feeling is gone, it's like, what's the point? For limerence, I mean. Not for relationships, for limerence. But I don't know. I feel like all of us have experienced limerence, and it ends in many ways. And I feel like the best way for it to end is for you to just be sad about it, or just be indifferent about it and just move on. Because limerence, I feel like it's a very scary thing to experience and very intense, and you can't really control it. You know what I mean? I mean, you can try, but also I feel like you're going to go crazy if you try to control that feeling. Because sometimes, as I said, you can't really control your feelings. And when you're experiencing limerence, I doubt you can control that. I feel like you just have to go with the flow and see what happens. I feel like it's just different from person to person. And if you are experiencing limerence, now you know what that feeling is. And you can differentiate it from crush and from being in love, because those are very different. They all have their similarities, but it's very different. And it's very scary to experience limerence when you don't know what limerence is. So now you know. And as I said, I will be linking this article in the description if you want to read it for yourself. And yeah, I feel like more people should talk about limerence, because it's a thing that literally everyone fucking experiences every fucking day. And we've all experienced it. Duri bez da se usaznajem. Thank you for watching this episode. It was a long one. I did yap a lot. But I really liked this episode. And I really wanted to talk about limerence, because I feel like we should talk about that. Maybe we should talk about it. And with that being said, eat good food. Drink water. Tell everyone in your life that you love them and that you care about them. Take care of yourself. follow me down below on all my social media, especially Twitch, because we're having so much fun there. And I will see you on the next one. I love you so much. And yeah,